Raghuveer, are we live? Okay. All right. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Uh, yeah. Welcome to this week's language Socratic dialogue. So before we get started with each team's pitches, I would like every participant to introduce themselves. So yeah, who would like to go first?
Hello everyone, my name is Sandeep Singh and today I'm the coach for Team Linguist Leaders.
Hi everyone, this is Aditya Srivastav and uh, I am representing Team Linguist Leaders.
Hello everyone,
Yeah.
I'm Satvik Suryavanshi and today I'm in member of the team Linguistic Leaders.
Hello everyone, I am Rakesh Sakla. I am a data champion at Crown Technologies. Today I am representing Team Linguist Leaders.
Hello everyone, I am Darshana Atam and today I am the coach for Team Verbis.
Hello everyone, this is Priyanshu Saxena. Today I am representing Team Verbis.
Hello everyone, I'm Vajra Kalekar. Today I'm representing Team Verbis.
Hello everyone, I'm Shivam Swarnakar and I'm representing Team Verbis.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Sagnik and I will be the moderator for this SD session.
Hello everyone, I'm Disha Talukdar working with ART Lab at Deep Thought and I will be the co-moderator for today's ST.
Okay. Yeah. So which team would like to go first?
Can we?
Okay, sure. Just before going at pitches, just mention the reason behind the name of your team and just give us a brief summary of your pitch.
Yeah. Uh, our team name is Linguist Leaders. So basically, Linguist Leader because linguist is a person who knows multiple languages, and we are developing leaders through language, which is why we are Team Linguist Leaders. And more about business impact. Through our idea, we are developing leaders with the help of language, which will be help organization to grow.
Okay. Yeah, and go ahead with the
Aditya,
pitch.
yeah, Aditya, can you share your screen? Yeah. So good leadership depends on clear communication. The way leaders use language help to inspire, guide teams, and solve the problems. Without language, would leadership even be possible? Next slide. Leadership is more than just word tone. Gesture and presence play big role. Non-verbal cues like body language and leadership listening help building trust. A leader's impact comes not just from what they say, but how they say it. Over to Sathi.
Yeah, so language gave humans a unique advantage, allowing for abstract thinking, storytelling, and teamwork. It's not just a tool, it's driving force from human progress, shaping civilizations and a way that we share knowledge. Going next. So, babies learn language naturally, where often adults struggle to learn it. So, the main question is that do we inherit language ability or do we learn it from our surroundings? So, children easily absorb multiple language, but for adults, it becomes much harder. So, going next, language have a unique grammar, sounds, and rules, but they do not shape how we think. Some languages have no tense while others use clicks. If languages structures influences thought, so people who speak different languages sees the world differently.
Yeah, so languages have the power to inspire or mislead someone. So we should always use our words thoughtfully. Using jargon words can create confusion or lack of clarity. So the leaders who use their language in the leaders who use their language in a definite manner have the power to change their future. Their words have so much power that they can change the mindset of the people around them. So they can even change the future with that. And in the end, I would like to say that we have seen what languages are capable of. They are capable of changing mindsets and also making leaders. So how far can these languages go? How far can they put our development? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your pitch, linguist leaders. Over to Team Verbis for 20 questions.
Yeah, I have a question. So, what do you think? How are leaders' language help in crisis management and maintaining brand reputation at that time?
Yeah, so yeah, as you mentioned, the crisis times, and can you please repeat the question?
At the time of crisis, how they can maintain their brand reputation?
Yeah, so the language plays a main role. Like in crisis time, the entire team of a leader is looking at the leader as a confident person who is confident with his idea for the organization's future. So confident language can play huge impact over the entire team.
But how? That's what I'm asking. How it can impact?
So suppose if the leader himself doesn't sound confident, so will it leave a positive impact over the team or a negative impact over their workings and all those stuffs? So by just a confident words, leader can imbibe a driving force to for them to work toward the end goal in the crisis situations as well.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else from Team
I have a
Verbis?
question.
Yeah.
In your page, you have mentioned about the adaptability of languages by children and the adults. Why do you think it is easier for children to learn new language quickly than the adults?
So we can understand it with a simple example. Children are like clay; they can be put into any shape. So, and adults are like statues; they can be easily put into any other shape. They have to be refined and chiseled through their way. So it is harder for them to get to anything new than children, because for children everything is new, so they would like to get interest in everything. And for adults, it is not as easy.
I would like to ask a question.
Yeah. Sure.
Is it only about interest that adults don't want to learn anything new?
I think for learning, a major part is covered by interest, because if someone doesn't have interest in something, why would he learn it? So that's why I think learning can affect like interest can affect learning a lot.
And adding to that, also babies learn through implicit learnings, through consciousness and all that. But adults look learnings through a structured way, so that limits it.
I would like to ask a question that adults cannot they also learn from being in the right environment, and if they're also having the interest, cannot adults be also like the clay which can mold, like take the shape, like a sponge that can learn, because many people are lifetime learners, right? So adults can also learn, right? Not just babies.
Yeah, adults can learn in the right environment, but they cannot exactly be like clay. If you mean they have learned from their childhood everything, so they are structured in a certain type of way. So they need a specific type of nourishment to get into that learning phase. And children have not entered in any specific phase, so it is easy for them to learn new things.
Okay. Does it answer your question, Shubham?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else?
I have another question.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the boundaries of the language, right? So I want to ask, what are the measures or steps one should follow to overcome the boundaries of the language, like the expression of language through words?
So I can suggest some steps. First of all, you should learn from the environment around you, the people around you. And second of all, you should not stay at a fixed path. you should learn from different environments. Such as when you are with a businessman, you learn different type of language, and when you are in a school with the children, you learn different type of language. So diversity is also important with learning.
Does that answer your question, Vajra? Do you have any follow-ups?
Yes.
Okay. I'm assuming that answers your question, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, with the interest of time, we can close up this part of the discussions. Yeah, we can go ahead with the pitch of Team Vorbis. So before Team Vorbis go ahead with their pitches, I would like to know the reason behind the name Team Vorbis and also just a brief summary of the pitch.
Sure. So the reason behind the naming is that verbis means words in Latin, representing the power of language. And our summary is that language shapes how we think, communicate, and collaborate through words, gestures, and symbols. And in business, clear language builds trust, while vague language and words create confusion and mistrust.
Okay. Please make sure that your pitch should not go beyond 3 minutes.
Sure. So the essence of language. So the essence of language is like language changes how we see things, like calling a glass half full instead of half empty changes our perspective of looking at it. And memory is also tied to language because we can use storytelling to improve the memory to explain concepts in a much more simple manner. Moving on to the next slide. Body language is that communication is beyond words, and body language plays a major part in communication. That if you have a strong body language, it exudes confidence and trust. And while having a weak body language will build mistrust and not that kind of trust that is needed for leadership. Over to you, Priyanshu.
The cognitive revolution. If we talk about early humans, they shared complex ideas which led to collaboration and societal growth. They did this through language. And also we have the ability of storytelling. Through that, we can pass down knowledge that can help a civilization to develop. And also language enable us to communicate abstract concept, making problem solving efficient. And the paradox of language learning. Babies, even before they can speak, they can recognize language patterns. And also, our brain adapts to a certain language if we speak it for a very long time. So, unlearning accents or structure become difficult. The complexity of language structures. While the language is a very important part in our life, it can also be complex sometimes. Language can have rules such as grammars that can create infinite sentence possibilities.
Talking about the illusion of meaning, the question is the words have the meaning on their own, or is the minds giving them the meaning? But the answer to that question would be the minds will be giving the meaning of the words, because words without meaning is nothing. And the ambiguity creates confusion in knowledge and decision making. Next slide. Defining the previous one. Defining the infinite. In a language, the business language evolves, new terms emerge with innovation, because for such words like success, it's different in different contexts, right? Because the success is not success means a faster acquisition, and the success also means the success in the life, but that doesn't finite the meaning of the word. It's the infinite meaning of the word. Next slide. The boundaries of expression. We use language to understand the ideas and to communicate through the business, but is that all that means that language is only used for communication, and without language that the business and the struggles and business and the communication would be struggles? People will think that sharing ideas and working together must be much harder. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your pitch, Team Vorbis. Over to Team Linguist Leaders for your questions.
Yeah, so you mentioned that over time, language have been structured, and they are as a boundary over the learning of the language, right? Yeah, so how can we overcome that structure or boundary to learn a new language as an adult?
As the generations are changing, I think the languages are also changing with the generations. And to adapt to these new generation languages, people must expand their knowledge and be familiar with the new language that is coming in the world.
Adding to Vajra, I would like to say that we must surround by materials which support the learning of that language and the retention of that thing.
By materials, learning materials, exactly what are you pointing towards?
Like being in a community where people talk that language, where people are also learning that language. So that helps build that thing up.
Yeah,
So
so
team
in
linguist,
so in this constant changing of languages, how do you make sure that the essence of the business or the essence of the things that you want to convey doesn't gets diluted or you can say interpreted?
We must not use vague and misleading words. That is the most important aspect. For example, if someone says that we are best in class, some company says, that is a very vague word. What we can replace it with is like rated #1 by 100,000 users. So that gives a credibility factor. So not only we should use much more clear and trustworthy words, but avoid vague words as much as possible to build the right expectations for the customer. So that way we can preserve language to improve to convey the idea which we want to convey.
does anybody have any follow-up questions?
Actually, I have a different question. So, as we see today, most people are using a new type of language. Like they have made their own type of words which fit best for their conditions. So they are the future business owners for us. So if a current business owner is going to communicate with a business owner of our generation, how will we communicate better?
It depends on the business in question. He will communicate in terms of that business, that particular business. Changing generation won't change the business, right? The business and the industry will remain, I believe.
Adding to Shivam, I also think that the people in this generation who are becoming the future leaders must know that the ethics of the business. Like if they are talking with the business owner from any generation, they must know the etiquettes and also the protocols that have to be followed in a business.
Okay, so I hope team linguistic, it's like question, it's answer your question, right?
Yes.
So who would like to ask the question next?
Okay, so you mentioned that there should be a clear structure to the thoughts or to the language that you use, but that does not matches with the non-verbal cues or the non-verbal languages, right? How would you make sure that the language being spoken, or how would you structure a non-verbal language?
Couldn't get your question clearly.
Like in language there is verbal language, right, in a business, and then there is non-verbal language which can give some indication. How do you structure? You mentioned that structure is important for clarity, but how do you make sure that this unstructured thing, which is the non-verbal language, is used in your business or in your language?
I think the thing we are conveying to the other person matters the most. It may be verbally or non-verbally, but the thing we want to convey gets conveyed in any ways. If we are not speaking it in verbal language, then we are obviously doing it non-verbal language, I think.
Adding to Vajra, I would say that what we are doing is like, we're not only giving the clear and trustworthy words, but also following that up with action. So our action will speak for itself. Like, we are providing the quality and the service, which we are like telling through our words. So that will follow up the thing and complete the process.
Okay, but
Also, the verbal thing may not be fully understood by the other person, and the actions are like the gestures we make while talking are also important.
okay, you mentioned trustworthy words. Like, what is that?
Trustworthy words is kind of not vague. That which is not vague is it is trustworthy. For example, again, like suppose if a company says cost 30% less than competitors, or it is made with 100% recycled materials, or 24/7 support instead of this like customer first. So this customer first is a kind of a vague word. It is not explicitly defining what exactly we are providing the service. And these words like 24/7 support with a 5-minute response time, or like made with 100% recycled material. These are the words which builds trust. So that is the thing.
So does anybody have any follow-up question? Okay, so Team Linguist, does this answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, so who would
Okay,
like to ask the
I have one more. So, how do you define these trustworthy words? Like, is it the same for every language or is it the same for everyone?
Now, coming to the trustworthy language or trustworthy words, first of all, we are trying to convey something to someone, right? So here both of the things matter, verbal and non-verbal language. It depends the trustworthy words or whatever the things are depend on the person we are trying to explain something. For example, if we are trying to explain something to our employees, then we will use some different words. And for example, if we are trying to explain something to our customers, we will use different type of words, right? So here it depends on the target audience we are covering, right? So there is no definition of any trustworthy words or something like that. It's just we have to understand that how we can explain the any topic on such a manner that it would be understood by another person.
But
Okay, so
then,
any follow-up question?
but then every person would have their own trustworthy words which they use.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is no particular constant definition of trustworthy words, right? You have to explain in like you have to explain something in that term that would be understood by the another person. Here we are not creating a dictionary of trustworthy words, right? So we can choose some words according to the person we are talking to and we can speak. Right now, what we are doing is we are trying to communicate, we are trying to make them understand our thing, whatever we are trying to explain.
Adding to Priyanshu, I think he's telling about building the trust. When we are talking to a customer and we are want them to be part of the company, then we will be asking them genuinely, like we are building the trust so that they can feel genuine connection and they will be willing to join the company.
Okay, so is it the language which will build that trust or genuine trust, or is it the emotion?
I think it's the
Combining,
both.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Team Linguist, does this answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, so who would like to ask the next question? Okay, so I think we can close up the rounds then. So nobody have any questions, right? Okay, so thank you so much everyone for become part of this Socratic dialogue and having such a wonderful discussion. So thank you so much everyone.
Yeah, before we conclude the session, we would like to ask for 3 reflections from all the participants.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, Sandeep, you can go ahead.
Okay, so the reflection I would have regarding the language discussion would be that sometimes it is very difficult to, what we can say, express our thoughts, and that is why language has been given to us. But when does it stops, right? Every new day we have a new word, we have a new definition, we have a new language. When does it exactly stops? And how can we master this cognitive ability or cognitive thing that is called as tool, that is called as language? So I think it is a very powerful tool, and it, as both the team mentioned, in business world or in leadership, it is very important to have the clear understanding of language so you can communicate better and lead better. So yeah, that would be my reflection.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, that's a great reflection. Okay, so who would like to go next? Yeah, Vajra, please go ahead.
From today's Socratic dialogue on topic language, language seems to be like a simple word, but it plays the most crucial. It plays a crucial role in all our lives. Like it could be business, it could be education, it could be anything in whatever the humans are doing. And from this session, I learned that in a business point of view, language plays a role that should build some trust between the two persons so that the business can go forward. And also, my reflection would be I'm happy to be part of this week's SD. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a great. Okay, so who would like to go next?
Yeah, I would like to tell my reflection. So language as well as body language, both are important and both complement each other in order to explain the idea or convey the idea which we are having. A very famous example of language and using the power of words is from Steve Jobs. Like when he introduced the iPod in 2001, he said something which really conveyed the message he wanted to convey to the audience, to the customers. The words were 1,000 songs in your pocket. So that is the power of words. That gives the idea of what exactly the customer is getting. So that is the way we are defining how words play a major role in businesses and in growing them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so anybody else want to reflect?
Yeah, I guess we can conclude the session. Yeah, thank you everyone for being a part of this week's SD. Hope to see you, next week as well. Make sure to write your,